Soft skills are not extra skills.
The ability
They
to
are
flex with it without breaking.
Hi guys, let me ask you something honestly and let's do this. How many graduates do you know who got good grades but still struggle to secure opportunities? And how many students can answer exams question perfectly but freeze during interviews? How many young professionals lose opportunities not because they lack intelligence but because they lack workplace readiness? And maybe that person is you. You studied hard, you passed exams, you earned that degree, you've applied for jobs, attended multiple interviews, but somehow, somewhere, employers still choose someone else that's not you. Why? Because in today's workplace, qualifications alone are no longer enough. Employers are hiring for more than technical knowledge. They're hiring for communication, intelligence, professionalism, adaptability, accountability, collaboration, and workplace maturity. But the painful truth, most schools never teach these skills. Nobody teaches you how to communicate professionally. Nobody teaches you how to manage pressure. Nobody teaches you how to navigate office politics. Nobody teaches you how to build confidence. Nobody teaches you how to present yourself professionally. Yet, these are the exact skills employers evaluate every single day. Today, we are fixing that. Welcome to Mary Muraya Career Lab. I am Mary Muraya, your favorite career coach, HR professional, mentor, moderator, and someone deeply passionate about helping you, young professionals, build intentional careers. In this video, we're unpacking the top 5 soft skills every employer wants, but schools rarely teach. And more importantly, I'll show you how to actually build these skills practically. So grab your notebook, take a seat, take notes, pause where necessary, and reflect honestly because this video might completely change the way you approach your career. And before we discuss these 5 skills, let's define something important. Soft skills are not extra skills, they are professional survival skills. So, soft skills are the attitudes, behaviors, communication styles, emotional habits, and interpersonal abilities that determine how you effectively work with others. And this is where most graduates struggle. Most educational systems emphasize more on memorization, exams, theory, grades, and technical content. But is it is that what the workplace requires? No. The workplace requires emotional intelligence, collaboration, critical thinking, initiative, leadership, communication, professionalism, and adaptability. And that is a completely different environment. The workplace is not your usual exam room like in schools. The workplace is a people environment. And employers today are saying we can train technical skills, but attitude, communication, professionalism, and emotional maturity are harder to teach. Why? Because what employers actually test in those interview rooms is number one, how you enter the room, your posture, your eye contact, your energy. Number two, how you speak. Do you speak with clarity, confidence, conciseness? Number three, how you respond to pressure. They ask you behavioral questions to see how you will react. Number four, how you treat the receptionist. In most interviews, character is always under observation. How you enter that office from the gate to the interview room and how you interact with the people you meet matters a lot. And number five, how you listen. Do you wait for to talk or actually hear, or are you the most talkative and the knower in the room, even when asked questions that you haven't heard clearly? And that is why two graduates with similar qualifications can experience completely different career outcomes. One gets promoted quickly, and the other keeps struggling. The difference is often soft skills, and a 2023 survey by Strathmore Business School and KEPSA showed that many employers in Kenya struggle to find graduates with strong interpersonal and workplace skills, not because graduates are unintelligent, but because workplace readiness is missing. And here's the encouraging part: soft skills are learnable. You are not born with professionalism, you are born with confidence. You build them. These skills are muscles, and today we begin training them. So, soft skill number one you need is communication and storytelling. And every week I've had people come and tell me, or I've had people say, I'm not naturally a good communicator. And I tell those I interact with the same thing every time. Communication is a skill, not a talent. And like every skill, it responds to practice. The question is never whether you can communicate, you do it every single day. The question is, are you communicating in a way that moves your career forward? And if no, communication is not speaking fluent English. Communication is clarity, confidence, emotional awareness, professionalism, active listening, structure, and the ability to express your ideas effectively to the people you talk to. And in the professional space, professional communication has three layers. Layer number one, verbal communication. What you say, how you say it, your tone, your pace, your vocabulary. Layer number two, your non-verbal communication. That is your body language, your eye contact, your facial expressions, and your posture. And layer number three, written communication in emails, reports, WhatsApp messages, LinkedIn posts. Like employers are watching all three simultaneously. And if you don't know how to communicate, your communication affects not only your social capital, but it also affects your interviews, your meetings, presentations, leadership, networking, teamwork, emails. Like generally, how you communicate might affect your whole career if you're not yet comfortable enough to do it the right way by understanding the three layers of professional communication. And it's unfortunate that a graduate may be academically brilliant, but if they cannot articulate ideas clearly and professionally, employers struggle to trust them. And many graduates struggle with one, introducing themselves confidently, two, asking questions, three, presenting ideas, four, networking professionally, five, public speaking, and number six, professional writing. And unfortunately, these gaps affect opportunities. So before you even communicate, you need to understand your audience framework. So the audience framework in communication is a strategic, audience-centered approach designed to tailor messages for maximum impact by analyzing framework components. And the A in audience stands for analyzing the audience. Identify primary, secondary, and hidden audiences, including their demographic characteristics like age, gender, and education. The U means understanding needs of the audience. You need to determine the audience's informational, emotional, and practical needs. And you need to distinguish between the known and the unassumed needs. The D stands for defining the demographic or psychographic profiles. This means that you need to segment your audiences into smaller defined groups based on shared characteristics to make targeting more effective. The I stands for identifying influencers. You need to recognize the key individuals or stakeholders who can support the message you're communicating or the influence you want to have for your primary, secondary, and even your audience in general. The A stands for evaluating attitudes. As a communicator, you need to assess the audience's current knowledge, attitudes, and beliefs towards the topic to tailor the message tone. The N in audience stands for note, barriers, and facilitators. As a good communicator and somebody who wants to pass a message across to your audience, you need to identify potential obstacles to communication. Is it lack of interest? Is it a language barrier? And once you identify these barriers and factors, you need to put in place ways that can help you adapt to them and navigate them so that you can be able to pass your message clearly to your audience by either building trust, understanding the local language, getting a translator for this. You need to be able to note the barriers and put in place facilitators to help you overcome these barriers. The C stands for consider channels. You need to select the best mediums to deliver the message based on how the audience consumes the information. Is it verbal? Is it non-verbal by using sign language? Or is it written in reports? When you're communicating, you need to identify the main channel streams you can use to pass your information from yourself as the sender to the receiver on the other end. And the E stands for evaluating impact. You need to review the communication strategy to assess its effectiveness and make adjustments that will help you communicate even better in future. And why this framework works, it's because it ensures that communication is not just sent, but received and understood by creating a strong message that includes primary points and relevant audience adaptations. Now that you've understood what soft skills are, how communication affects yourself as a professional and somebody growing in the space, and even come to understand the audience framework of communication, let's talk honestly about common communications mistakes we make as people trying to navigate the professional world. Mistake number one is being overly casual with our workplace language. Like some of us have become too familiar with the workplace that we are using overly casual language, and that's not quite good for you as a communicator in the professional space. Mistake number two is sending poorly written communication. Some of us don't know how to structure professional emails, how to write professional reports, or even how to tailor make professional presentations. So once you send poor written emails, it gets to affect your communication. Mistake number three is fear of speaking up during meetings. A meeting, like we said in our previous video, like an interview, it's just a communication between you and the panelists. So when you're scared of speaking in meetings, you might end up having an idea that would have changed the whole trajectory of that room and even transformed the ideas and reduced the time. But if you fear communicating, that is why you end up messing things up. You might raise your hand and be heard. You never know, maybe you're going to be the one assigned that role because they see you can do it better than anyone else. Mistake number four, interrupting people. As a good and professional communicator, you need to understand turn taking. You wait until the other person is done so that you can raise your point. You don't interrupt people. Step number five, poor listening skills. As a good communicator, turn taking is important and also how you listen. Be an active listener in those meetings, not just a passive or a selective listener. Be active in those meetings, be present, and have proper listening skills. Mistake number six is rambling answers during interviews. When you mumble down your answers during interviews or any professional meeting you are in, it reduces your chances of getting heard. It even lowers your self esteem and your confidence, and it makes the panelists or the people you are with in that meeting see that this person is not confident, they're not clear on what they want to say, and they lack the clarity. Like you need to have the 7 C's in mind anytime you enter into an interview room, and even when you're putting in your suggestions in these meetings, you need to have the 7 C's in mind. Mistake number 7 is speaking too fast because of nervousness. I have been a victim, maybe you have been a victim too, but you saying things too fast might make the other persons in the receiving end not get to understand what it is you're saying. If you're nervous, speak slowly, take your time before you answer, and do the breathing exercises. Breathe in, breathe out before you give that response. Mistake number 8, using slang in professional environments. Using your local language in a professional environment is diabolical. You can't use slang in an environment that is professional and expect people to understand what you're saying. We all know that slang is different depending on where we come from and how you use it in the professional world might at times reduce your chances. And I'd like you to have in mind that sometimes employers are not just evaluating your accent, they are evaluating your confidence, your clarity, your professionalism, your composure, and your emotional maturity. So, if you get to understand how you can overcome these mistakes, you might end up being the next person to fill the next space that's going to be vacant, or even maybe be sent to represent the company, even in big meetings that you never thought you could be in, and even find yourselves in rooms owning them because you have understood what it takes to be a good communicator. And one thing many professionals underestimate is the power of storytelling. Data alone is forgettable, but stories are memorable. And your ability to explain your experience, your achievements, your challenges, and your growth journey determines how people actually perceive your value. And that is why storytelling matters a lot, even when it comes to answering interview questions. In our previous video, we talked about how to use STAR technique method when it comes to interviews, especially when answering behavioral questions or questions that need you to tell a story of yourself. So, the STAR technique method, a recap: the S stands for the situation. You need to set the scene concisely. You need to give context of what happened. The T stands for tasks. What were you responsible for? Like what duties were you assigned to do, or what responsibilities did you have? The A stands for the actions, and specifically what you did as an individual to solve the context and how you used the responsibilities and duties assigned to you to achieve good results. That is the R in the STAR technique method. What measurable outcome can be seen or identified to be as a result of what you put in place by understanding the context, the duties, and even the actions you put in place to solve it. So, when answering interview questions, you need to avoid vague answers. Structure your thoughts. Think about the last, okay, like do this exercise with me. Think about the last presentation you sat through where someone just read PowerPoint slides. And now think about the last time someone told you a story that made you lean forward. Um, Among the two, which do you remember first? Obviously, it's the one that somebody gave you a story and you end up leaning forward to hear it more. So, learn storytelling when it comes to interviews and even how you communicate. So, how do you improve your communication as an individual and even as somebody who is moving forward and scaling forward into the professional space? Number one, practice speaking intentionally. Number two, record yourself speaking and listen to it again and again until you identify mistakes you're making that you can end up changing. Number three, read more books and articles. Reading books, articles, journals, it helps you have more vocabularies to use when it comes to communication. So you don't end up floating when people talk and you don't have the vocabulary count. Number four, improve your professional writing. Do research on how to write professional emails, reports, presentations. Just do thorough research and practice every day. Number five, join discussions with people who can help you learn and improve your communication skills. Number six, practice public speaking. Number seven, learn active listening. Number eight, observe strong communicators. Number nine, learn to structure your answers. And number 10, improve your digital communication etiquette. Okay, I'll show you something and we're gonna do it practically in this video. Allow me to show you how to structure your emails. We look at a bad email and a good email. So how does a bad professional email look like? So here's an example. An example is somebody sends you an email and it's like this. Hi, I need feedback urgently. Thanks. That's a poorly written and bad professional email. How does a good one look like? Good morning, Sarah. I hope you're well. I am following up regarding the HR onboarding report submitted yesterday. Kindly let me know if there are any revisions needed. Thank you for your time. Warm regards, Joanne. Can you see the difference between the two? And one thing you need to understand is that professional communication needs to build trust between you and the receiver. So let's look at something called the 3-minute rule for professional emails. And if your emails take more than 3 minutes to write, it's probably too long or too complicated for you. So structure it like this. In line 1 or paragraph 1, what is the context? What is your email about? What do you want to tell this communicator or receiver about your email? Paragraph 2, what do you need from the person you are writing the email to? Or what are you telling them? You need to understand what you need from them or what it is you want to tell them in paragraph 2. And in line 5 or paragraph 5 of your email, what happens next? You need to give them a call to action. You need them to offer you help. Do you need support? Do you need feedback? Like that is how you need to structure your email. From paragraph 1 to paragraph 3, and it's going to take you less than 3 minutes to structure it. So you need to practice this every time you write a work email or professional email. And within a month, your written communication will transform the best. Now that you've understood communication and storytelling, let's look at skill number 2. The second skill employers desperately want, and nobody's going to teach you this, is emotional intelligence. And this one can completely transform your whole career trajectory if you get to understand it properly. So, what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence means understanding yourself, managing emotions, understanding others, regulating reactions, handling pressure maturely, and communicating empathetically. And lastly, navigating relationships wisely. And in corporate environments, um, like corporate environments are emotional environments. You get to deal with a lot of criticism, pressure, deadlines, difficult personalities, office politics, rejections, conflicts, like a lot is happening and you need to understand yourself, the people around you. You need to build yourself to a capacity that your emotional intelligence is way high than all these things happening in your environment, the stress, the conflict, the misunderstandings, the office politics. And especially if you're in HR, you get to deal with a lot of employee emotions, conflicts, workplace politics, difficult conversations, burnout, leadership tensions, terminations, mental health issues. Like you get to deal with a lot of emotions coming from other people's because you're the human people officer and you're the person who is in charge of this corporate culture. So you get to deal with a lot of this. And your emotional intelligence determines how you get to respond to these situations, whether you're in HR or not. And I want you to understand the Goldsman 5 components of emotional intelligence. Component number 1, self awareness. This is knowing your emotional triggers, your strengths, and your blind spots. Component number 2, self regulation. You need to manage your own reactions and reactions of others, especially under high pressure. You need to understand how they react and you need to be able to calm them down so that you can be able to think clearly and even communicate with each other. Component number 3, motivation. This is the internal drive beyond money or status. Component number 4, empathy. You need to understand how others feel and respond to it appropriately. And component number 5, social skills. This is building relationships, influencing, and navigating conflicts. How can you tell somebody who has low emotional intelligence? Like, what are the signs of low emotional intelligence? Sign number 1, emotional outbursts. Number 2, defensiveness. Number 3, victim mentality. Number 4, gossiping. Number 5, poor conflict management. Number 6, oversharing. Number 7, taking feedback personally. And number 8, inability to regulate emotions. Let's look at our let's look at a workplace scenario. Imagine a supervisor reviews your report and says, "This needs significant improvement." And one employee becomes defensive immediately. And another one says, "Thank you for the feedback. Kindly help me understand where I can improve." Who do you think gets trusted with leadership opportunities? Obviously, it's the second employee who takes the feedback positively and doesn't react by being defensive at the spot. So you need to understand how do you build your own emotional intelligence as a person so that you can be able to deal with other people's emotions. So number 1, you need to develop self-awareness. Number 2, journal your emotional triggers. Number 3, practice, practice, pause before reacting. You need to practice the stop technique. That is, stop, take a breath, stop, take a breath, observe your feelings, and proceed with intentions. Stop, take a breath, observe your feelings, and proceed with the intention. Number 4, you need to practice emotional regulations. Number 5, learn empathy. Number 6, it's the hardest, but you need to understand it so that you can build emotional intelligence. You need to accept constructive criticism. Number 7, improve conflict management. Number 8, practice separate emotions. Like you need to practice to separate your emotions from their decisions. Number 9, practice professional composure. And lastly, seek honest feedback. You need to ask a trusted friend or a mentor how you come across when you deal with situations under pressure or when the situations are not in your favor. How do you react to them? And if they are going to be honest with you, you need to take that feedback positively. And in interviews, employers watch out for red flags. So, what are these red flags that they get to watch out for when it comes to them assessing your emotional intelligence? Red flag number 1 is blaming others for past failures. Number 2, an inability to describe a time you made a mistake. Number 3, speaking negatively about former employers. Number 4, interrupting the interviewer without
understanding the context or the questions. And number 5, showing visible frustrations at difficult questions. Many times when the employer asks you behavioral questions, they get to test a lot about your emotional intelligence and how you react, how you get to respond to them. It triggers them to understand whether you're a person with high emotional intelligence or just somebody who still hasn't been able to self-aware about themselves. So you need to learn and practice the stop technique before you even get to react, and be self-aware of yourself so that you don't get easily triggered by people around you or situations when asked. Soft skills number 3, adaptability and resilience. And there is no easy way to explain it other than the post-COVID workplace reality. And if there is one thing the pandemic post-COVID taught every employer on earth is this: the people who thrive are not the ones who had the most qualifications. They are the ones who adapted fastest. Remote work, hybrid models, organizational restructuring, AI integration, role changes, economic uncertainty, they all arose after this pandemic. And the modern workplace changes constantly. Like technology changes, HR systems are changing, managements have also changed, the industries have evolved, and AI is changing how work is done. And the economic realities, they have shifted so high after the pandemic, and your ability to flex with it without breaking is one of the most valuable things you can bring on board to an organization and offer value in. So employers want adaptable professionals, not rigid professionals. So what's the difference between adaptability and resilience? So adaptability is the ability to adjust to new conditions, while resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks. And you need both, and they need to work together, because an adaptable person changes the strategy when circumstances change, while a resilient person gets up after being knocked down. And to become a great professional, or if you are a great professional, you need both, because they get to pivot you and they persist, helping you navigate adaptable help you navigate changing workplaces. And I've seen many graduates struggle with both adaptability and resilience, because most school environments are highly structured, but the workplace very unpredictable, because sometimes you will work under pressure, you will need to learn unfamiliar softwares, you get to even change teams, adjust to difficult managers, even multitasking comes in, or you even get to face rejections, and adaptability and resilience becomes essential. So how do you build adaptability? Number 1, you stay curious. Number 2, learn continuously. Number 3, seek discomfort intentionally. Number 4, volunteer for unfamiliar projects. Number 5, develop a growth mindset. Number 6, learn new technologies. Number 7, stay open to feedback. Number 8, avoid entitlement. Number 9, become solution oriented. And number 10, learn quickly. You need to learn to have more skills quickly. Now that you know how to build adaptability, how do you build resilience? You need to document your wins. Number 1, document your wins. You need to keep a brag file of every achievement you have. Is it positive emails and milestones? You need to have that brag file where you keep everything that's makes you keep pushing every day. And on hard days, you need to review it. Maybe you got an award someday because of doing something. Keep that in your brag file so that it can motivate you when things get hard. Number 2, build strong support systems. Have career coaches, mentors, a peer accountability partner who can help you get to navigate the hard days when things are not smooth and when things don't seem to be working out in your favor. Number 3, separate your identity from job titles. You are not your role because that is not who you are. And you need to understand that your value isn't determined by one company's decision or by a huge role that you have. What defines you as an individual is your values and even your own identity without the titles. And I'd like you to do this in your journals. I want you to define yourself without the titles you hold. Maybe you're a CEO of something, maybe you're the MD, maybe you're the HR director. Define yourself without these roles. And the person you get to identify as you, that's who you are. So you need to separate your identity from your job titles. Number 4, learn healthy coping mechanisms. Number 4, learn healthy coping mechanism. Like, you need to practice the next action mindset. After every setback, you need to answer the question, what's the next right action I can take for this situation? Don't sit there and wallow in sorrow just because things didn't go how you wanted them to be, but you need to understand the next action mindset. Number 5, reframe your setbacks as learning experiences. Build your emotional stamina to a point your career journey will build your emotional stamina to a point that you get to understand that your career journey is not always going to be smooth. But when you become resilient and understand that your setbacks are learning experiences, you get to grow despite the many setbacks you go through. And that's how you are able even to build your resilience as an individual and even as a professional. And when you talk about resilience, employers hear some things when you talk about it. So, what do employers hear when you talk about resilience? When an interviewer asks you, tell me about a time you failed, they are not trying to embarrass you. They are testing whether you can acknowledge realities honestly, take personal responsibility, extract lessons without being a victim, and demonstrate forward movement. Are you a person who can be able to shift, be adaptable and resilient without blaming others or having the victim mentality? Or how do you navigate it? Now that you've understood the 3 skills, let's look at soft skills number 4. That is collaborative problem solving and critical thinking. And almost every CV I've come across in says I am a team player, and almost no one can prove it. The skills that employers actually need isn't someone who tolerates working in groups. It's someone who actively makes the group better. And that's collaborative problem solving. The ability to bring different minds together, navigate disagreements productively, and arrive at situations that no one could ever have reached alone. And in simple terms, employers do not simply want workers, they want thinkers and problem solvers. And they get to ask, can you solve problems? Can you collaborate effectively? Can you think strategically? And can you contribute to ideas? And critical thinking and collaborations are massive career differentiators. I'll teach you something called the 3 failure modes of collaborations in workplaces. And number 1 mode is the passenger. This is someone who just shows up, contributes minimally, and waits to be told what to do. Like, they're just like a passenger princess in a car. I don't know if you get to understand it, but the passenger is someone who only like shows up to be seen, contributes with less effort, and sits like a quick waiting to be told what next to do. And employers don't want such kind of a person. The second kind of mode of failure in workplaces is the hijacker. This is someone who takes over, dismisses others' ideas, and makes the project about themselves. Like they get so entitled into these projects or these teams that they get to dismiss others and make them feel like they can't do it if they are not there. And no one wants a hijacker in their teams. And the last failure mode of collaboration in workplace is the conflict avoider. These are basically people who say they are minding their business. They stay silent when they disagree. They then they complain after the fact. Like these are people who don't face their conflicts. They tend to have that tendency of avoiding conflicts, or when they go silent on you when they disagree, and then they get to complain afterwards that you could have done this, not that. And none of these are what employers want. What employers actually want is a collaborative problem solver, someone who can speak up even when it's uncomfortable, listens to understand, not to respond, builds on others' ideas rather than shooing them away. Number four, addresses conflict directly and constructively, and someone who puts the outcome above their ego. Some practical tools you can use to better your collaboration is start with clarity. Like before any team project, align on the goals, the roles, the deadlines, and even the decision making process. Number two, use yes and instead of no but, especially when brainstorming ideas. Like you don't need to shoo away people's ideas by telling them no. You can listen to them first before you give the verdict. Number three, you need to learn to give and receive critique. You need to separate the ideas people are giving you and the criticism coming to you or the group, and you need to separate it from the person saying it. Once you start seeing criticism as positive, you get to change your whole trajectory. Number three, Number four, document decisions and action items. Don't let meetings evaporate without a paper trail. You need to document things. And in the professional space, documenting things actually saves you more time than you ever need. You need to check in, not just show up. You need to communicate with your peers as much as with your supervisors. And in interviews, proving you're a collaborator, you need to have three things in place, or you need to prepare like three stories where collaboration was key. And in each story, you need to be able to explain who was on the team and what each person contributed, a moment of tension or disagreement, and how you as a team player were able to handle it. Number three, you need to be able to explain what the outcome was and what you personally contributed to it. Now that you've understood what it means to be a collaborative problem solver, how do you improve on your collaboration? Number one, clarify goals early before the project starts. Number two, you need to define roles clearly. Number three, learn constructive feedback. Number four, communicate proactively. Number five, listen to understand, not just to respond. Number six, address conflict maturely. Number seven, document action items. And number eight, practice empathy during teamwork. Now that you've understood what collaboration is, let's talk about critical thinking. And let's look at an example of critical thinking in HR. If an employee turnover increases and strategic HR professionals get to ask why are employees leaving? Is leadership the issue? Is compensation the problem? Is burnout increasing, or is it workplace culture? These questions get to trigger critical thinking, and it helps you understand why exactly that the turnover rate in your company is increasing and not going down. And it helps to identify the root cause of this turnover rate. So you need to become a critical thinker for you to become a strategic leader. And the most critical thinkers I know are the most strategic persons I have come to meet.
So, how do you build your critical thinking? Number one, you need to ask better questions. Number two, read widely. Have a vast knowledge of vocabularies and knowledge. Number three, analyze workplace situations. Number four, stop depending entirely on instructions. Number five, learn problem solving frameworks. Number six, practice independent thinking. Number seven, build analytical habits. Number eight, improve decision making. And number nine, organize. Number nine, you need to learn that organizations promote professionals who solve problems, not professionals who constantly create the problems. You need to be a problem solver, not a not a problem generator. And you need to be a critical thinker. Now that you've seen how the four soft skills are important for you as a professional and that they're not taught, let's look at the last final skill. And the final skill is deeply underrated, and that is professionalism. And many graduates underestimate how much employers value reliability. And professionalism includes so many things that I'm sure you didn't know, e.g., punctuality, accountability, consistency, integrity, attitude, communication, responsibility, grooming, and follow through. And many opportunities are lost by graduates because of lateness, excuses, poor communication, lack of accountability, disappearing without notice, or even poor attitude. I'll teach you something called the accountability triangle, and it includes three things. And number one is see it. This is where you get to acknowledge what happened honestly without minimizing it or dramatizing it. Like you need to understand the context honestly and accurately. Don't overdo it or don't underdo it. And number two, you need to own it. You need to take responsibility for your role. Even when others are also at fault, you need to take accountability and responsibility about what you contributed into that thing. And number three is being able to solve it. You need to focus your energy and that of the team on the solutions, not on the blame game. And once you understand all this triangle of accountability, you become an amazing person. And you need to understand that professional accountability is not perfection, it is ownership. And it's seen by differentiating some of these things. Like you need to understand the difference when it comes to the system was down versus I should have tested it earlier to catch the issue. Here's how I'll prevent it next. Like you need to see it, own it, and solve it. Once you identify the system was down, you don't need to have a blame game. You need to go back and identify that you should have tested it earlier and identify the issue first before uh, saying it didn't work and being able to come up with a solution to do how it right. Another example of how you can identify is you saying I thought someone else was handling it versus I should have confirmed who owned this and here's my plan to solve it. And practical ways you can put in place accountability habits include number one, set and meet deadlines even before you are asked of the project or the assignment you've been given. Number two, communicate proactively if you will miss the set deadlines. This is how you build your accountability habits. Number three, follow through consistently. Number four, own mistakes honestly. Number five, send updates even before you're asked. Number six, respect confidentiality. Especially if you're in HR, confidentiality is supposed to be your number one priority. Number seven, protect your reputation. And lastly, be dependable. And in Kenyan workplaces so far, your reputation travels faster than even your CV. And trustworthy professionals get remembered. So, how do you actually build these five skills that you've spoken about in this video? I would want you to practice this 30 days soft skills challenge. This is how you're going to do it. I want you to do something before you close this video. I want you to pick one of these 5 skills we've talked about today, and the one you know in your gut is your weakest. You need to commit to working on it for the 30 days. So in week 1, you need to learn. Maybe read one article or book, chapter, or even watch a video to observe how others demonstrate the skill you've identified as the weakest. Week 2, you need to practice. Find one low stakes opportunity where you can be able to apply that skill you've identified as your weakest. Maybe it's a family discussion or a group discussion, maybe a church meeting, volunteering that can help you actually grow that skill. Week 3, you need to reflect. Journal about how it went, what you're noticing, and what still feels hard when it comes to you putting in place measures to perfect this skill. And week 4, you need to demonstrate this skill. You need to apply it in a professional context, either a meeting, a presentation, an email. You never know, maybe in these 4 weeks, you'll have developed way better than you were before you started. Then come back in the comments below and type which skill you chose and what happened after the 30 days or the 4 weeks. And if you are serious about building these 5 skills in a structured, community driven way with personalized coaching, accountability partners, live sessions, and even real world assignments, I want you to invite you into the HR Career Accelerator program by Mary Muraya Career Lab, which is not a generic online course because it's a career transformation program designed specifically for you, Kenyan HR professionals and aspiring HR practitioners, or people who want to understand HR, where we get to cover everything from soft skills to technical HR competencies, interview preparations, personal branding, and even career strategy. The link is in the description below, and applications for cohort 1 are currently closed, but you can apply for cohort 2. So go check it out. And if you learned one thing today, let it be this: your degree alone is not enough anymore. And the future belongs to professionals who can communicate, collaborate, adapt, think critically, regulate emotions, and carry themselves professionally. And the beautiful thing, soft skills are learnable. You do not need to become perfect overnight. You simply need to become intentional about learning your soft skills and teaching yourself to master these soft skills. So I challenge you today, choose one soft skills from this video and intentionally work on it for the next 30 days. So if this video helped you, give it a like, subscribe, and share it with other students or professionals you know who can get to learn from it. And comment below in the comments your biggest takeaway, and I'll respond to even your queries. And if you want structured mentorship, HR training, career coaching, workplace readiness support, interview preparation, networking opportunities, and professional accountability, this is your chance to join the HR Career Accelerator program by Mary Muraya Career Lab. Your career deserves intentional growth. So see you in the next video as we dive into more HR insights and career growth tips right here on this favorite channel, Mary Muraya Career Lab. So see you in the next video.